Thank you very much for joining this evening, councillors, colleagues and members of the gallery. For minute-taking purposes, this meeting will be recorded, please.
Welcome everyone, councillors, staff and members of the public to the February meeting for the Muswellbrook Shire Council. The number one item on the agenda is the applications for attendance by audio visual link, which we have 0. So we'll pass on from that to the acknowledgement of country. That's about it.
I'd like to acknowledge the country that we're meeting on today, which always was and always will be Wanneroo land. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners and the teachers of our knowledge and before us, and pay our respects to our elders past, present and emerging, and for giving us the land that we do our business on today, our waterways and our flats and plains.
Thank you, Councillor Bowditch. A civic prayer.
Almighty God, from a perfect gift, we give you thanks for the blessings you bestow upon us in this Shire. Grant to those who hold office in this council the spirit of justice and truth, of wisdom and charity, that mindful of our responsibility for those we serve, we may promote the true welfare of your people, exercise wisely and faithfully the authority committed to us, and advance the common good through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Dunn. Please be seated. We have no apologies or applications for leave of absence. Councillors, as we know, we had the Australia Day Awards not so long ago, and we had 2 apologies for that day, 2 recipients of the award. I'd like to welcome Yasmin Jimison to come forward, please. Would you like to come over to the lectern? One of our dual Young Citizen of the Year, and the Young Citizen of the Year recognises an inspirational role model for young people in our region. They have shown achievements in community activities, academic, sporting, cultural, environmental or social responsibility. And you're also a nomination and awarded for the Open Award. Yasmin Jimison, through her perseverance, positive outlook and passion for service above self, is a positive role model for young women and a leader. She has held numerous leadership positions within the SES, is a dedicated instructor with the Australian Air Force Cadets, and has attended leadership programs including Burn Bright National Leadership Camp, Rotary Youth, and has volunteered for numerous youth organisations including Little Dreamers Young Carer Organisation, One Door Mental Health on Fire Youth Program, Beautiful Minds Youth Enrichment Program, Rotary Programs and Virtuous Oceania Asian Games. She was also selected for the Premier's Anzac Ambassadors Program. So congratulations to Portia.
Mum might want to get a. Steve, can you turn around so Mum can get a better advice?
Yeah, most definitely. Don't drop it. Which way?
Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for inviting my sister and I and my mother here today. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your meeting to do this for us. I'm truly honoured to have received the award. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to the organisations that I volunteer for. They are quite close to my heart. So yeah, I really appreciate that, and it's a true honour. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have Senior Sportsperson of the Year. The Senior Sportsperson Award recognises demonstrated excellence in their field and or outstanding at sporting achievements, including representing the sport at a local, state, national or international level. Nominees conduct themselves in the spirit of good sportsmanship, fair play, respect and integrity, and display inspirational leadership and long service to the sport and sporting community. I'd like to congratulate Portia Jimison for her resilience in the face of adversity has earned Portia Jimison this nomination. The Muswellbrook High School student was selected in the swim team to represent Australia at the 2023 Virtus Global Games in France. 2 weeks before she was to fly to France, she dislocated her knee at a Sydney CHS swimming event, where she was representing her school and region, which unfortunately her knee needed surgery and a long rehabilitation. She has continued to be positive and has actively been building on her skills and hopes to become a swimming coach in the sport that she is passionate about and excels in. Among many sporting achievements, she was a recipient of the prestigious Hunter Blue Award for Swimming, the highest individual sports award given within the Hunter region for secondary schools. So I'd like to congratulate Portia, and if we can call. I think there are another place that needs a swimming coach. Congratulations.
Thank you. First off, thank you everyone for inviting me tonight. It's a big honour to get this. Yeah, sport's a big part of my life, and I'm really excited to see what my future holds. So this is a bonus for me. Yeah, thank you.
Councillors, we're just going to take a quick break. Just Mum would like a photo, and we'll invite all councillors to come up and be in this photo to young citizen and sports person of the year. So I just want to take a minute to come up for a quick photo with the recipients. Sorry.
I'll go to the right. You go.
I'm in front of you.
Smile, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you, councillors, and yeah, it's very important recognition. I think. So,
Thank you, everybody.
well done.
Thank you.
First time we've ever done that.
First for everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll let you go.
All right. Congratulations once again, which brings us on to item number 5, confirmation of minutes of ordinary council meeting held in 23rd of January 2024. Councillor McNeil and Councillor Douglas. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Unanimous and carried. Disclosures of any pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest. We'll start to the left and make our way around.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd like to declare a pecuniary interest in 10.1.4, the planning proposal additional use for the power station. I'm employed at Bayswater Power Station. 10.1.2 geotech investigation. Pumped hydro. My employer is a partner. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to declare a non-preclusionary interest in 10.1.5, the council representative on the Community Consultative Committee. On the Triple C, Bengalla's mentioned in the thing, I am the chairperson for Group 21 Rugby League. Bengalla's a major sponsor, and I'm also on the Triple C of Melbourne.
Councillor Mahan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm having a non-pecuniary interest, item number 17.8, page number 99. The Blue Flame Restaurant lease proposal, the applicant is come under my friend circle.
No.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Minutes of the committee meetings, item 11.1 on page 605, Bengalla Community Fund Funding Investment Committee. I have a pecuniary interest as my employer undertakes work on behalf of Bengalla.
I'd like to declare a pecuniary interest in 10.1.1, page 23, DA 2020-124 Community Facility Shed, as I'm actually the CEO of Wanneroo Land Council, whose DA it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So pecuniary interest in 10.1.2, the DA 202356 geotechnical investigations for Muswellbrook pumped hydro. Pecuniary interest is I'm employed by AGL and they're a member of the pumped hydro joint venture. And 10.1.4, planning proposal, additional permitted uses, Bayswater Power Station. I'm employed by AGL and work at Bayswater Power Station, so pecuniary interest is there as well.
And we've got to get insignificant put on this from our workshop in relation to property in place, 10.3.3, the Lincoln Park status report. As I undertake sports videography at this is one of the locations, though this does not impact or benefit. Property in place, 10.3.4 Market Street pathway adjoining CWA Hall and Hunter Disability Service. Once again, my wife works for the Hunter Disability Services. I'll be removing myself from that one, just to be clear. Also, 10.1.5, the business specific reports in relation to council representation on Triple C's and institute. My son previously received a scholarship from Bengalla. This has no bearing on or benefit on this item. And the same with 11.1 minutes of committee meetings, Bengalla Community Funding Investment Committee minutes for the Bengalla community. Okay, moving on. Anyone else? No. In public participation, we have four public speakers. The first one being Mr. Stuart Galloway in support of 10.1.2 DA 2023-56, the geotechnical investigations, the lower pumped hydro. I will just have to get to the microphone if that's okay. So bring that with. Oh, we just have to. Sorry, yeah.
He does.
You've got 2 minutes, Mr. Galloway.
Yep, I'll try and be quick.
Yeah.
Good evening all. Stuart Galway, I'm the manager for land and approvals at AGL. Tonight I'm representing the Muswellbrook Hydro JV between Idemitsu and AGL. So the DA that's before you tonight is in relation to the Laurel Reservoir geotechnical investigation. It's quite important as part of the project because it'll inform the detailed design, which is the next steps that's currently being undertaken for the full project. So the geotech investigation will help inform where the powerhouse location is, pipelines and so forth in relation to that lower reservoir. We also have a application for the upper reservoir, which will be treated separately.
Any councillors, if you don't mind, any councillors with any questions for Mr. Galloway? No? Thank you very much. I don't think that there was a couple more come. We also have Mr. Jeffrey Fishlock in opposition of 10.1.2 DA 2023-56 geotechnical investigations, lower Muswellbrook pumped hydro. Mr. Fishlock here. you coming online or? No? Okay, we'll move past that. We have Mr. Brett O'Kane in support of 10.1.3 DA 2002/205, section 4.55 modification applications for the Muswellbrook coal mine widening, closure and rehabilitation amendments and accommodate Muswellbrook bypass.
Julian, I don't require to speak. We're came along just in case we don't have any questions of us.
Is there any questions, councillors, that you would wish to ask? No? Rob, sorry, if you missed the page, Julie, or? Councillor, right?
As I understand it, the changes that are required to be made, this is a requirement to be, those changes made, changes due to regulatory changes from mines inspector, is that right?
Yeah, so one of the key drivers for this change was the changes in the Mining Act and the changes in the way that we need to report our rehabilitation to the resource regulator. So that was to make sure that our consent aligns with those requirements and that we don't have any conflicts.
Any further questions or? No? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item number 9, there's business arising. There is nil from the previous minutes. Which brings us on to the business at hand. The first one is 10.1 cleaning and environment. Workshop last night, and some supplementary information was provided today. 10.1.1 DA 2022-124 Community Facility Shed 17 to 19 Maple Street. There's a council recommendation. The council approves development application DA 2022-124 for the construction of a shed for the community facility at 1719 Maple Street, Muswellbrook, Wanneroo, local Aboriginal Land Council, lot 11 DP 552780, subject to the recommended conditions of consent included in attachment B.
Have been moved out.
Councillor Doherty, seconded by Councillor Leckie.
Not moving the man.
2 seconds. You wish to speak to the item, Councillor Drayton?
No.
No. The amendment that you wish to include, you have to stand.
Stand. To include the condition 9 of the email supplement. Perfect, mate. Perfect conditions.
You'll have to on that for the record.
Still let's go.
Condition 9.
Condition 9.
Of that email supplement. Sorry, it was late enough. Yeah. Prior to the issue of the certificate of construction, certificate car parking planning to be prepared by a suitable qualified person submitted to and approved by council and documentary evidence provided to the certifying authority confirming that approval of the car park shall include the detailed design of car park comprising 14 cars parking spaces together with one accessible car parking space, total 15, together with in accordance with the manoeuvring area, access ways and turning areas to be fully sealed and line marked in accordance with AS 2890.1204 parking facility and the relevant provisions of the AS 1428. Parking plan is to be accompanied by a stormwater management prepared by an appropriately qualified engineer detailing the stormwater management all conditions as it hard stand and impervious areas related to the car park. This stormwater management plan is to a company. And as section 68 permit for the drainage and stormwater was submitted under related conditions of consent.
Okay, that amendment, councillor Drayton, that amendment?
Yeah.
No problem. Sorry, councillor Drayton, is that, yes?
Yes, good practice.
Councillor Mackey, do you accept that amendment?
I'll speak against that amendment.
Councillor Scholes had his hand up first, so we've had the people that they don't wish to speak for, we've got the amendment.
Yeah, to confuse the world even more, I want to make an amendment to the amendment.
Do we need to vote on this one or?
Yes, we,
How can you vote on that when you don't know what my proposal is?
sorry?
How can you vote on his amendment if I propose an amendment to the amendment? Unless you know what my amendment is,
Technically, it gets.
because you effectively wipe out my ability to put an amendment to his amendment.
Well, let me come back to the original if it gets voted down, but that's the whole backwards and forwards. But I will listen to your amendment now.
Sorry?
I will listen.
Okay, it's just in relation to the protrusion of the shed about 5 metres extending beyond Wahroonga, and on the email we received from the planning department today, it doesn't have a number. There's potentially more onerous information there than I would suggest we need to do, as long as the proponent is prepared to mask the impact that the shed will extend beyond Wahroonga. Produce a landscape plan that masks where the shed protrudes beyond Wahroonga.
So that's the amendment.
That's the
wording
budget
there.
is.
Do you accept that, councillor Drayton?
Yes.
Councillor Leckey?
I don't have to bear that in mind.
That comes part of your amendment? Okay, so we've got someone to speak against the councillor Bowditch.
I just want to speak against the only part of the amendment moved by Darryl, councillor Marshall, is the part where we're proposing to seal this car park ground, which you're asking the Aboriginal people to seal the ground that they have ceremonial grounds on. So you're trying to cover up their ground at the back. I'm all okay with all the waterways and everything else, but I just find it from an Aboriginal person sealing up an area where there's going to be car parking and ceremonial ground, asking us to cover up that.
Okay. No, are you speaking for?
I just want to answer.
You can't answer that. So we've got the motion put forward. We captured the amended part from councillor Scholes. Councillor Scholes, can you re-articulate that to the minute takers?
Basically, I've cut it back to not be quite prescribed, as I said there. Basically, the landscape plan is produced with the landscaping.
Yes, no, so councillor Scholes made an amendment, separate.
I'm added to it. No, but a landscape plan is prepared and submitted for approval. Basically, is the landscaping to soften and mask the shed where it extends beyond the Wahroonga building as front.
Got the word, I can't read it from here, but you got the word basically.
That's it. But that's what it doesn't just be any more than that.
That's all. You can, yep. Okay, so it's been moved, voted. All those in favour, please raise a hand. All those against, declare that unanimous and carried. Well, councillor Douglas is coming back into the room. We have some to go out. So it's 10.1.2, just to keep things moving smoothly. DA 2020 geotechnical investigation, pumped hydro. There's a recommendation there that council grants development consent to DA 2023-56 for the geotechnical investigations associated with works at lot DP lot 1004305, lot 59 DP 752484, lot 60 DP 752484, lot 61 DP 1113302, lot 62 DP 752484, and lot 44 DP 1112699, subject to the recommended conditions of consent included in attachment B. Moved by councillor Woodruff, second by councillor Bowditch. Do either of you wish to speak to the motion? Anyone wish to speak? With that motion, all those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carry. I'm not too sure whether they're at. Okay, 10.1.3. Yeah, just waiting. Ten point 1.3 DA 2002/205, section 4.55 modification application, Muswellbrook Coal Mine Mod 9, closure and rehabilitation amendments and accommodate Muswellbrook bypass. There's council recommended resolution there for council approves the S4551A modification to develop application number 2002/205, subject to the recommended conditions of consent in attachment B. Councillor Drayton and councillor Douglas. Anyone wish to speak to it? Against? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. Again, brings us to 10.1.4 planning proposal, additional permitted uses Bayswater Power Station site. There's recommendation that prepare a planning proposal pursuant to section 3.33 of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979 for an amendment to the Muswellbrook Local Environmental Plan 2009 to an additional permitted use of industry on the land adjacent to Bayswater Ash Dam. 2, request a gateway determination from the Department of Planning and Environment and exhibit the proposal in accordance with that determination pursuant to section 3.34, 3.35 of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979. And 3, request that the Director General of the Department of Planning and Environment issue a written authorisation to exercise delegation of the plan making functions under section 3.36 of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979 in respect of the planning proposal.
Also,
by Councillor Snell, seconded by Councillor Marshall. Anyone wishing to speak to it?
make a comment. In regards to the briefing we had yesterday and the information we received from the director with regards to environmental planning, to some extent, I think we're going to have to go through these particular hoops, forced to by the state government. It's very unfortunate we're carrying the load for the state government yet again.
Councillors to come back in.
Sorry.
Commit that motion. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. Uh, 10.1. Only in the country. Council, would you hear? 10.1.5, council representation on community Community consultative committees. There is a recommendation originally, just bear with me, councillors, and then we'll get to the second part. The council endorses the environmental planning officer to be council's representative in accordance with the Community Consultative Committee CCC guidelines, June 2023. And where relevant, councillors may apply to be community representatives on the CCCs. We need someone and second that because there is a proposed amendment from staff as per an email we received. So someone happy to move that? Councillor Marshall, seconded by Councillor McNeil. The amendment is that the environment planning officer being council's representative at mine community consultative committee meetings in accordance with the community's consultative committee CCC guidelines, June 2023. And B, the general manager writing to the Minister for Planning, Housing and Infrastructure seeking a change to the guidelines or the interpretation of the guidelines by the DPHI staff to enable more than one council representative composed of councils and council staff to be council's representatives at the CCC meetings and councillors writing to the relevant mine seeking to be accepted as community representatives at the relevant mine CCC. Just to speak to that, we did receive the information that we previously from specifically Bengala. We'll draw to the council's attention they have guidelines. As I've spoken to the general manager, and we will proceed down that track. If you are happy for that amendment, Councillor McNeil. Second. Yep.
It's only a replacement, isn't it?
I have a crunch. I wish to.
Okay.
That looks like.
So no, that's all right. Anyone use me to speak for it? No?
No.
So those against, yes.
Yeah, okay. I don't have any problem with point A and B.
Yep.
I just find C doesn't really get us where I think we really want to be with regards to its wording, because I think councillors, the way it reads, 12 of us could write our letters to every individual CCC to nominate as the council as community representative. I don't think that's our intent. I think we're more looking at councillors within the council ask and nominate themselves to go on particular CCCs, that we agree or not agree with regards to that, and then that councillor writes their application in it. And the point as C is written doesn't really reflect that intent.
So you wish to remove item C? Yes.
I think it just needs to be reworded. That's all. Council as an organisation will vote to determine who will be the community representatives from council for the CCCs, and then those councillors write to the mines to be nominated for the CCC. Otherwise, as I said, 12 councillors could nominate for every CCC. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but that could be counterproductive in the resolution that council writes to the mines for us to appoint the representatives, which that's what we're achieving in the other items anyway, because we want to have council. Yeah,
council staff.
It says council's writing to the relevant mines. There's nothing that precludes me from doing it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I see what you're saying, and I think that removing of C gets us to where we want to be, because we're actively approaching the Department of Planning to change it, because at the end of the day,
that doesn't happen, Steve. If the Department of Planning doesn't change.
So can you put in words what you just proposed there?
I'm basically just saying that the council nominate councillors to write to the individual CCCs as their nominee as a community representative. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think that would clarify that.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's the way it reads right now. It's just too.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
complete.
Yeah, the first time backwards and forwards was
Yeah. Okay. So, do you want to read it, Sharon? Do you want to check?
Council writes to the relevant mines.
Sorry, the council themselves will have to write.
Yeah, we're just trying to sort things.
And that councillor right to.
Yes. Yes, the
Yeah, that's I'm happy with that.
I just, I do agree with Councillor Scholes, probably for a different reason. And ultimately, our aim as councillors is to be there as the community's representative, not just a community member who has an interest because I live next door to the mine, or have an interest because I'm the most affected by dust or most affected by noise. Where there is an elected community representative representing the whole community, not just, as I say, because of geographical reasons or where I live or where I might not live. And that's not the case with every community, that's for sure. But I think there should be some strongly worded letters through to the government. I mean, it's probably not I would have thought there was a more important time at the moment of community representation on mining triple Cs, the way the industry is, with both what we've got ahead of us with, as we already know, with the mine closing down, what we've got ahead of us with the industry itself, and the ever change every day. We hear a different story about what might happen and what might not happen. So I think there probably hasn't been a more important time than truly elected community representatives being out there on these triple Cs, representing the community, not just representing the community, you know, with some self-interest.
Yeah.
And I say that in the most respectful way. That's not the case with them all, but it certainly is the case. And I actually encourage, you know, people who might live next door to a mine, they've got a reason for being on it. And I encourage people to do that. As I say, we're a completely different representation type as an elected representative.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, as I said all along, it was guidelines, and I appreciate that we're sticking to the guidelines that they've put forward, Bengala, but that motion clears it up, and we'll write away to them to ensure that it doesn't happen with any other mines, especially around guidelines. So with that amendment, sorry, Darryl, you're happy with that amendment? Second, I'll commit that. Anyone to speak against? Commit that motion. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Further, unanimous and carried.
In relation to that matter, please, councillors, as the Director of Planning and Environment has mentioned, what form would you like to nominate the councillors for each triple C? So we could send an email to councillors and you reply. We could do that now.
I think I was going to say, I think unless the state government changes their stance, the individual councillor has to write. I think you're right with regards to that. Yes. We've voted to sort out who's going to do what, but then the individual councillor has to write.
Yes, yeah. So the thing being, though, that this is the only mine that's
There's no need for us to do that. Bengala is the only mine that's rated.
So the other mines have not drawn, I've spoken to, have not brought this to a head. So it's only in relation to Bengala. So,
and effectively, again, it only, in effect at the moment, only really concerns me. So I'm the only elected councillor, and councillor Lecky, pending her current status. They did tell us the other day that it was now a community rep, not a councillor.
okay.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah,
And councillors, yep, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. 10.1.6, reducing the impact of balloons at events. Council supports an update to the sustainable events procedure and the sports ground, park or facilities booking request form being undertaken to 1, advise event organisers that council discourages the free giveaway or sale of balloons, whether filled with water, air, helium or not filled. And the 2, council staff shall not purchase balloons to be given away for free at council supported events.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move an amendment.
Well, we have to move and second it first. Would you like to move it?
Yeah.
I'll move the motion.
Second. And if you'd like to.
Yeah, just a simple amendment that the word outdoor is inserted in front of events on 1 and 2.
So that's because I didn't pick that up.
Is at outdoor events held on the community end and council supported outdoor events in option number 2. So do you wish to speak? Sorry, Councillor McNeil, and who was the second? Councillor, do you wish to speak to that first before I take someone? Okay.
Yeah, look, I just believe that indoor events, we can control the waste and the risk that's been mentioned. Support
Outdoor, I think they're not an issue on indoor events. And the joy of balloons for kids is huge.
Against, councillor?
I guess.
Yeah.
I just want to put some context around what's happened. The council's not there. When we, actually, I think I made the comment yesterday, I've never spoke for so long about balloons. Briefing session yesterday, I think one took up 20 or 30 minutes of time. We're not the fun police here. This is not the idea of it. Council certainly wasn't staff's idea. It was purely about, it's the way the world's heading. I found out something myself yesterday, now we could get biodegradable balloons. And apparently they tell me it's a thing of the future. So just to be clear, for the community, it's not about the council doing any fun police and stopping kids having balloons. It's purely just about some context about where we're heading with one, what's the word? There'll be one-use plastics. It is all it is. So yeah, just to clarify that for question.
Simple use question, councillor Woodruff.
Can staff not buy biodegradable balloons?
Sorry?
Why can staff not buy biodegradable balloons rather than buy balloons?
I'll ask the general manager.
Well, I think sorry, Mr. Mayor, thank you, Councillor Woodruff. Well, something staff will look at, Councillor Woodruff, yes, for events, absolutely, yeah. It really is about rubber balloons, single use plastics, as Councillor Drayton said. This is an emerging market for biodegradable balloons, and certainly we'll look at that.
Then a foreshadow amendment to item 2.
Okay. Sorry, just a question from Councillor Douglas first.
I just want to clarify whether or not council considers the sandwich. You know, I'm 100% in agreement when it comes to plastic and things, but I think when you're taking away as part of a family's grief a balloon release, I have concerns with that. So I think we need to clarify that. Encourage, yes, the biodegradable balloons for any sorry business. I think you need to consider the family's grief at the time.
Sorry, just to clarify too, are you speaking about balloons on the grave, not just the release?
I'm talking about the release.
Okay, that's, yeah.
They're on the graves as well, obviously.
Yes, that's why.
So I'm thinking if we're looking at this, then we need to, we consider that community land. So therefore.
Okay, yep. I'll take a question.
I'm not sure the process why how I do this, because I have an issue with the motion that stands there as well.
Okay, so
If I could please, Mr. Mayor, could I please suggest that we defer this matter so council can get some clarification?
I'll move that.
there was enough conversation about last night.
Yeah. I think we'll have the same time.
Would you be happy? We'll defer that item. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Declare that unanimous and carried.
It is. Have you got enough? You get a bit more now, Jeff.
We've really deflated that balloon. You're busy, mate.
That's in the biodegradable.
It runs like bucks. Edible too. So, okay.
Chocolate balloons.
10.1.7 rural land care funding. There's a recommendation, no one's conflicted, the recommendation are there that council 1 notes the outcomes of the expression of interest for funding from the from the rural land care budget. 2, authorise staff to request formal funding applications from the 2 expressions of interest submitters. 3, delegates the general manager authority to determine that applications provided the projects are sustainably the same as the EOIs. And 4, allocates any remaining funds to natural area maintenance along Muswell Creek. Yeah, got Councillor Woodruff and Councillor Barry. Anyone wishing to speak to it? Anyone wishing to speak against? With that motion, all those in favour, please raise your hands. So that unanimous and carried. 10.1.8, the monthly report to Council, Planning, Environment and Regulatory Services. There's a recommendation that the information contained in this report be noted. seconded by councillor Marshall. Any want to speak for or against discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.2.1 guideline for the installation and management of public gates stock grids. There's a recommendation that one, council approves placing the guideline installation and management of public gate stock grids on public exhibition for a period of 28 days, and two, request that at the conclusion of the 28-day public notification period, a further report is submitted to council providing details of any submissions received. Moved by councillor Woodruff, second by councillor Drayton. Anyone speak for or against? Speak for?
Yeah, I just asked it. I know it's only on submission. I just asked. Obviously, we've got quite a few gates, of course. They're yesterday they were called gates, and I knew what a grid was called, but they're called gates now, not grids. But I just wanted to make sure that, as I say, these only go to submission. We just want to make sure that obviously some leniency shown. What the idea of it is to some cocky out in the middle who lives out in the middle of nowhere who hasn't got an ability to fence, or if he's got an ability, to sell his farm to do it. I just want some leniency shown and some common sense, obviously, in decision-making process with, if we do decide to remove any of these gates, grids.
Yes. Yes.
With the motion, all those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.2.2, the Barami Creek Causeway replacement. There's a recommendation the council endorses in principle the concept designs for the stream stabilisation and the replacement of the causeway at CH.
Change.
Yeah, 16.5 kilometre Barami Creek Road, attached to the report on the basis that a peer review of the concept is undertaken by an independent expert certified by Engineers Australia to conduct a peer review of the design. Had councillor Woodruff down the end and seconded by councillor Bowditch. Anyone to speak to it? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous. 10.3.2, the Olympic Park. Sorry. People. Okay, sorry. 10.2.3, Urban Road Renewal Program 2023-2024. There's recommendation the council endorses the attached priority list for urban road renewal and the undertaking of the projects under the 2023-2024 capital works program to the limit of approved funding. Councillor Bowditch, councillor Douglas. Anyone to speak for or against? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.3, property in place. 10.3.1, Regional Entertainment Centre Development Advisory Committee terms of reference. Council approves the following. 1, the Regional Entertainment Centre Development Advisory Committee being an advisory committee to council. 2, the committee will meet as required but no less than quarterly. 3, the draft terms of reference to be adopted. And 4, subject confirmation of representatives, the committee will comprise the following members: Councillor Dunn, Councillor Leckie, Councillor Sculls, authorised representative of Muswellbrook Amateur Theatrical Society, authorised representative of Upper Hunter Conservatorium of Music, authorised representative of Muswellbrook and Upper Hunter Estedford, authorised representative of Muswellbrook High School, authorised representative of Australian Rail Track Corporation, one local dance group representative invited through an expression of interest, and one independent member of the community invited through an expression of interest.
What you read out, what is on 4, 1 councillor Dunn chair, 2 councillor Taylor, you get the chair, councillor Pascal.
I'm sorry, I'll rephrase that then. Councillor 1, the 1, 2 and 3 is councillor Dunn as chair, number 2, councillor Leckie as deputy chair, and 3, councillor Sculls as a committee member. Do I have someone to move that way?
Question, Mr Mayor, first.
We need to have a move in a second. Moved by councillor Marshall, seconded by councillor Douglas. Anyone speak for? Against? Clarification, councillor.
Yeah, just for the purpose of record keeping, could we get an explanation of what precipitated the reason for the change?
I'll ask the general manager to.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Thank you, Councillor. Director, Infrastructure and Property, will be able to provide a response.
Thank you, Councillor Neil. Couple of reasons. With the other advisory committee, Olympic Park, there was discussion about confirmation of membership. So that was one process along the way. The Regional Entertainment Centre, we've had independent representatives. We had gone out for advertisement. Paul, we're about to go out for advertisement again. And then so there's a question about should that focus in terms of representative be more narrow? The other thing that came from the discussion workshop we had about the Regional Entertainment Centre theatre component and what currently happens in the town being Muswellbrook High School, that came out of it. And then, but I guess the main thing was the way that the committee was operating. The Section 355 guidelines that recently went to council, there were a number of obligations under that for the committee to do. And the committee doesn't operate like the 355 committee. It operates as an advisory committee to council. And so the thinking of staff was it operates like an advisory committee. It's probably best just to make it an advisory committee. It won't be any change to committee members in terms of how the committee functions.
Thanks very much. So we've had a move in second. Anyone to speak against or commit that motion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Say that unanimous and carried. 10.3.2 Olympic Park Precinct Development Advisory Committee Terms of Reference. There's a recommendation the council approves the following. 1, that the Olympic Park Development Advisory Committee be an advisory committee to council. 2, the committee will meet as required but not less than quarterly. 3, the draft terms of reference be adopted. And 4, subject to confirmation of representatives, the committee shall comprise of the following membership: Councillor Barry as chair, Councillor McDeal as deputy chair, authorised representative of Muswellbrook Junior Rugby League, authorised representative of Muswellbrook Senior Rugby League, authorised representative of Muswellbrook Touch Association, authorised representative of Olympic Park Tennis Club, authorised representative of Park Tennis Club, authorised representative of Muswellbrook Cycle Club, authorised representative of Muswellbrook Swimming Club, authorised representative of Australian Rail Track Corporation, and 2 independent community representatives via expression of interest. Would that need to say now?
Currently, we have 2 independent community representatives.
So we should be name them then as that purpose in the report, because
I think for the purpose of the composition of the committee, independent community representatives.
Okay, Councillor Barry's happy to move that, seconded by Councillor Bowditch. Any discussion? Does anyone speak for or against? That, all those in favour, please raise your hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.3.3, the Olympic Park Status Report. There's a recommendation that council notes the information contained in the report. Councillor Barry.
Douglas.
Councillor Douglas, I didn't say sorry. It's been moved to second. Anyone to speak for? Anyone to speak against? All those in favour, please raise your hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. Councillor McNeil, you'll have to take over this one.
Already over there, or something.
You'll have to come over here.
Thank you, councillors. 10.3.4, Market Street Pathway adjoining CWA Hall, Enhanced Disability Services. Council 1, approves staff to negotiate transfer of ownership of the existing pathway allotment adjoining allotments 4 Market Street
and lot 255 DP 728952 Market Street to Hunter Disability Services Proprietary Limited, and the creation of right of footway for the Country Women's Association as part of an agreement. And 2, request that following negotiation with the relevant parties, a further report is submitted to council. Can I go over? Councillor Bowditch. All those in favour, raise your right hand. All those against. Declare it carried unanimously. Thank you, Councillor Bowditch.
Major 10.3.5, the major project status report. There's a recommendation that council notes the information contained in the report. Councillor Barry and Councillor Lecky, any discussion? Question? All those in favour of that motion, raise your hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.4.1, fraud and corruption policy, Muswellbrook Shire Council 18E, MSCE 18E. For adoption, there's a recommendation that council adopts the attached fraud and corruption control policy. Councillor Lecky, Councillor Woodruff, anyone speak for or against? Commit that motion. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous. Carried. 10.4.2, awarding of sponsorship grants and contribution policy, and the council seeking sponsorship policy for adoption. There's a recommendation the council adopts the awarding of the sponsorship and grants and contributions policy, and 2, council seeking sponsorship policy. Councillor Dunn and Councillor Marshall. Anyone speak for? Against? Commit that motion. Those in favour, please raise a hand. Just commend the council staff too on that. We'll get some good leadership moving forward on the way of the budgetary, and if we can advertise that vigorously so as people know that it's not ad lib anymore. Okay. 10.4.3, annual conference attendance by councillors. Recommendation 1, council appoints council delegates to attend each of the following conferences being held in 2024. If there's more than one, have to put it to a vote. So we have A, the Australian Local Government Women's Association New South Wales Conference. We have someone wishing to put their hand up for Councillor Lecky. The B, Rural and Regional Summit. Any councillor? Sorry?
No one else wants to talk.
Councillor Dunn. Waste 2024. Councillor Douglas. Local Government New South Wales Destination and Visitor Economy Conference 2024. Councillor Marshall. Australian Local Government Association National General Assembly for Local Government. We've got the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, the Mayor also being Council's voting delegate. F, the Local Government New South Wales Border Management Conference. It is an important one. Councillor Sculls.
Where did that one from?
I couldn't say it was anywhere.
When?
Egypt.
July.
I'm back in the country.
Local government. This is after the elections. We're voting for on this one, just to be clear. The Local Government New South Wales Annual Conference. The Mayor, and another councillor to be determined after the 2024 local government New South Wales election, who will also be council 2 nominated voting delegates. 2, council reimburses expenses in accordance with MSC 02E council expenses and facilities policy. 3, arrangements be made for the registration, accommodation and travel to the conferences. And 4, council delegates provide a written report for the information of council within 3 months of conference attendance. Do I have someone to move? No, by Councillor Barry, second by Councillor Douglas. Any discussion? Those in favour, please raise your hand. Declare that unanimous. Carried. Yes, that's all right. School-based 10.4. School-based trainees. There's a recommendation here. Council approves the engagement of 2 school-based trainees as identified in the report. Councillor Barry, Councillor Douglas. Any discussion?
Good news. All right, in favour. Okay.
You're speaking for.
I'd like to congratulate council on this particular effort. I have a daughter who is enrolled at the hospital in Tamworth with regards to trying to get these kind of trainees into the schools in Tamworth. Potentially our staff should have a talk to Tamworth City Council and they keep on popping it and saying each department determines whether they do it or not. Well, glad to see that as a council we've decided to do this, and the council officers have to be congratulated. This will potentially hold people in our town. This is a thing that is with people that learn their jobs here, they stay there, do their jobs here, we hold people in our town. It's got to be positive.
For us, by us.
Yeah, we've had some great candidates come through over the years. Lots of Toby Vero that have stayed in the community and moved on to other positions as well.
Okay.
A large number of trainees, and I think it's great that we're back doing it. So
I have a son who's a trainee and he's now head of project engineering in Hastings County. So it's work.
Well done to council staff.
Yeah.
all those in favour, please raise your hand. Declare that unanimous. Carried. 10.4.5 December 2023 quarterly budget review. There's a recommendation that council adopts the proposed changes in the December 2023 quarterly budget review. Councillor Marsden and Councillor Leckey. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Unanimous and carried. There's a recommendation on 10.4.6 reports on investments held as at 31st of January 2024. Council notes council's investment as at 31st of January 2024. Councillor Leckey, Councillor Sculls. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.4.7 monthly financial reports January 2024. Council notes the financial reports for the month ending 31st of January 2024. Councillor Leckey, Councillor Marsden. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.5.1 opportunity and challenges document. There's a recommendation that council endorses the 2024 opportunities and challenges document. Moved by Councillor Leckey and seconded by Councillor Douglas. Any to speak for or against? Those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.5.2 the economic development update December 2023. Council notes the information contained in the report. Somebody who moved that motion. Councillor Marshall. Councillor Leckey second. Anyone to speak for? Anyone to speak against? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.5.3 report on council grant funding and community engagement. There's a recommendation that council notes the information contained in the report and endorses the following. 1, apply for funding to stage a Come and Try Sports Day at Olympic Park in January or February 2025 under the Australian Sports Commission Play Well Participation Grant Program. 2, resubmit a previously unsuccessful application for a flip screen for use at council's waste facility under the New South Wales EPA Local Government Waste Solutions Fund Round 2. 3, apply for up to $150,000 under the New South Wales Open Streets program to assist with the staging of a wine, food and film themed event in Denman in October this year. And 4, council's community grants program to reopen for applications on Thursday, the 29th of February 2024 and close on Friday, the 29th of March 2024. Moved by Councillor Douglas, seconded by Councillor Leahy. Anyone speak for?
I just want it noted how well the staff have done with grants, and they should be commended because grants are not easy to get, and I think it has done very well. So I want it noted for the team.
Okay. Sorry?
Commend the staff and the council.
I commit that motion. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Declare that unanimously carried. 11.1, Bengala Community. Sorry. Eleven point one, Bengala Community Fund Investment Committee, 6th of December 2023. The minutes for the Bengala Community Fund Investment Committee meeting held at the 6th of December 2023 be noted. Someone to move that. Councillor Barry and Councillor Marshall. Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise your hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. (11.2) The Local Traffic Committee minutes, the 12th of December 2023. There's recommendation the minute for the Local Traffic Committee meeting held on the 12th of December 2023 be noted, and the recommendations contained therein adopted by Council. Moved by Councillor Marshall, seconded by Councillor Bowditch. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. There are no motion. We have nil. Councillors' reports to start to the left. Go in. Councillor McNeil, no. 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 Is that right? Do you have any reports, Councillor? No? No. Yeah. And Hannah Homeless on the forum they hosted here the other week that us councillors attended. It was very enlightening, and there's a lot of work to be done on that space, and that council will be making an effort in every aspect to work to the benefit of everyone in the community, especially those in need. So well done to the Hannah Homeless Association and those involved.
Can I talk to the same thing, the report, council report? There was quite a few councillors there, Councillor Marshall, Councillor Dunn, Councillor Joe, and myself, Smith. Yeah, it was enlightening, scary in many ways, and it actually highlighted how bad it is in this particular town with regards to the many different types of homelessness, and to think homelessness is a schizophrenic drunk or the wife who's resides with a, excuse the French, bastard of a husband. There's lots of different things, and homelessness in this town is a hidden thing, because we go down to Sydney, we see the homeless people. The reason we see the homeless people in Sydney, for their safety, they put themselves in open areas. Here in the country, they tend to find themselves relatively safe, so they hide themselves away to a certain extent. So there's a lot more people out there than you realise that are actually living on the streets. But homelessness is not just living on the streets. Homelessness is couch surfing, it's living in your car, it's living with relatives, it's people squashing themselves into buildings where they don't do. And it's also exacerbated in this town, I think, to some extent, by the contractors occupying so much of the rental premises in this town. and the price, therefore the prices that rents are paid for in this town, this transitional homelessness, this transitional people, not necessarily permanently homeless, these transitional people, we do not have the infrastructure or the available accommodation in this town. We really need to start thinking about what we do and how we do it, because there's always the shortage of houses, which is a long-term thing, but we have a transitional homeless population we should start really worrying about, because we're creating a society I don't think anyone wants to live in.
No one's susceptible to homelessness without at any time to any one of us. So it is something that we do need to take serious. I'll say that. No further council reports brings us to 14 written questions. There are nil questions for the next meeting.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Do you want to understand this?
Yeah, no, you'll be fine. Thanks.
Just in relation to our flood studies or flood reports, they're based on what I believe.
Question.
Yeah, okay. Trying to reframe that. Is there any plans or any prospects that our flood studies will be brought up to date in terms of considerations of global warming and larger rain events?
Very much for the question. So council currently is a consultant, still with catchment management. Then the two main waterways passing through town. Part of the priority for that is to consider the impacts of climate change, and then the additional extension being grant funding for the Possum Valley diversion. They've actually increased the discharge rate from the previous flood model, rebuilding a flood model to the latest standard. I think it's been estimated as being about $50,000 to $60,000 at least to redo the model. So the initial concept design that they're going to base the feasibility on is based on an increase in the amount of discharge based on climate change in any of the assessments we do now until we progress further. But that will be a consideration for any future grant funding opportunities and current budget to complete those jobs.
Councillor Woodrow, is that? Councillor Woodrow, I don't believe. Yeah.
Councillor Bowdy. It's not so much a motion for a question for next meeting, it's one for this. Can everyone check under the missing from our council meeting tonight, please? Mr. Woodrow's hat.
I brought it up when he walked in the room. Yeah.
Please just add to Councillor. So you're satisfied with the response, Councillor Mill. We do regularly update our flood plans, and as the Chief Engineer has said, we increasingly, as councils will be aware, climate change is a factor in all of our thinking.
Yeah, and so we'll just get clarification. Thank you, Mr. General Manager. So our assessment process will take into account an upgraded assessment.
Sorry, I just didn't give you that question.
So I think you did answer this in the last statement. So future assessments will take into account, I guess, any findings from.
There's been a major development in stream rainfall runoff, which I think the latest update is the 2019.
The 2019.
Yeah, so it's a significant change from what we've had beforehand. The models that have been prepared beforehand by consultants have been updated. I think the last one was back in 2014, 2015, give or take. The rebuilding of those models will be a very involved exercise. We'll be basically starting the project from scratch. And I think a complete flood model for the Hunter River, all the other areas, could be very substantially expensive. So in a lower risk environment for feasibility, we're increasing the amount of volume we're expecting from the catchment to allow for climate change. And then we'll look for opportunities to redo the entire models. But at this stage, we're being given all the information, having those models, the flood reports completely done, almost be like doing the project from scratch because of the way that the modelling to move forward under the Australian characteristics.
Thank you very much. I'm probably not allowed to make this, but the statement I would make is that I hope that's a high priority, given the absolute decimation of Lismore, that community.
Councillor Drayton.
Yeah, I just have a question for next meeting to staff. Maybe it's a question for this meeting some councillors can help us with. Last Thursday, Councillor Douglas and I provided a question to the General Manager that we wanted to put in tonight. Councillor Douglas bugged around for a week and didn't get back to me. It might not quite be the truth. It might be Councillor Drayton. A bit late. Anyway, the question involved obviously a hot topic in the community. It's a question that we've all been discussing as councillors. That's the change, the FOGO change, the change to the fortnightly red bin pickup. I think, I'm certainly not the only councillor, that's for sure, that has heard the community loud and clear that I don't think it's a good idea. Certainly, we understand that it is a reasonable, a major change for some people, particularly people with larger households or kids. So I think my view is, and certainly the view would be good if, with your indulgence, Mayor and General Manager of councils could indicate. I know we can't formally do it till next week, but certainly an issue I think we need to put to bed for the community. That the red bin collection remain the same as it currently does. So red bin every week, so nothing changes with the red bin. FOGO gets introduced as it was always proposed to be introduced, and we go on a 6 month trial period. And in 6 months' time, we look at it again. Council look at it again to see how it's all going. I mean, I think we all spoke earlier about some years ago the introduction of recycle, how long it took people to work out how to put their bottles and cans in a different bin, and now it's just become second nature. Hopefully that's the case with FOGO as well.
So if the question is to go to council.
The question is to go for councillors to indicate, and I say this confidently, but councillors to indicate whether they would like to have the red bin service remain the same. Obviously formalise it at the February, March meeting. But indicate, whether we can keep the red bin service the same on a 6 month trial, still introduce FOGO as it was always planned to introduce. As I say, extend the 6 month trial and then make some decisions from there.
Yep, that's what I
That's a question for both of us, by the way.
Take that on notice that I think it's a burning topic on all of us, and we've spoken about our own personal views. So we'll have that come back to next council meeting, but I don't think I can ask for it.
I can provide a bit more this to me. Thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks, Councillor Drake and Councillor Douglas. And
I can't ask councillors to commit to both.
staff do, thanks. Staff do appreciate the engagement that councillors are having with the community on this important matter. We have discussed this internally, and we will commit to providing that trial for 6 months of continuing the weekly pickup of the red bin. And we'll formalise that in a report to the March council meeting so councillors can resolve on that matter, and council staff will have that instruction. With costings, yes, council staff, that's right. Yes, exactly.
It would be good if we could make some more controversial decisions like that, because certainly we've got lots and lots of feedback from the community. And when you get lots of feedback from the community, it makes your decision much easier to make as a councillor. So certainly that's been the case with all. I'm sure everyone's had that feedback.
That's right. We've been going on for that. 7 months now. We've been going on about that, and especially with the other councillors, abroad across the harbour in Sydney West and Lake Macquarie. So it's good that it's come to the table now. So.
Question.
And well, I'm just going to add to what Mr. Cole said about come forward with costings, but also the long-term gains to councillor once FOGO is implemented and is working, please.
Councillor Mahar. Councillor Scholes. No. Yes.
Oh, really good question, Mr. Mayor. Just a congratulations to the new secretary.
Any other questions? Moving along. No. Okay. That brings us to adjournment into closed council. I've got a recommendation to go into closed council. Moved by Councillor Harry and Councillor Marshall. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Third, unanimous. Harry. Go stuck around.
We're not that interesting.
Recording started. Okay, in relation to 17.1, council has deferred that to the next council meeting. 17.2, the regional procurement tender T452324 HUN panel contract for road safety barriers. Council accepts the following companies to be awarded as the panel source suppliers to the Muswellbrook Shire Council in category 1 of the contract T452324 HUN for provision of road safety barrier systems for the period of 1st of April 2024 to the 31st of March 2026, and that a provision be allowed for a 12-month extension based on satisfying contract through to the 31st of March 2027. A Destras Proprietary Limited trading as DMP fencing contractors. B Guardrail Infrastructure Proprietary Limited trading as Guardrail Installations Australia. C Guardrail Systems Proprietary Limited. D Ingle Civil Products. E RBK Proprietary Limited trading as Top Notch Fencing. F Road Safety Barriers Proprietary Limited. G AG and LJ Irwin Family Trust trading as Irwin Fencing Proprietary Limited. And H Western Safety Barriers trading as Western Safety Barriers Group Proprietary Limited. And 2 declines to accept any supplies for category 2 of the contract T452324 HUN for provisions of road safety barriers. 17.3 2020-21-0452 Muswellbrook Animal Care Sustainability Contract Settlement. We have resolved the council to negotiate with the contractor as detailed in the report with the inclusion of high risk variation items. 2, if the negotiations are unsuccessful, council defends the full claim as per the final payment schedule. And 3, authorises the general manager to negotiate, finalise and execute a deed of settlement and release the contractor. 17.4, council, the Upper Hunter Innovation Centre Donald Horn Building Contract Settlement. Council 1, resolved to 1, provide the final offer as recommended in the report, and 2, authorises the general manager to negotiate, finalise and execute a deed of settlement and release with the contractor. 17.5, request for assistance in removing public gates at Giant Creek Road. Council approves the use of the funds from GL 3500.4035 heavy patching for the reinstatement of 3 road sections on Giants Creek Road, conditional upon the removal of existing public gates by the permit holder. 17.6, variation of the lease for Woolworths Muswellbrook proposal. Council resolved that 1, approves proceeding as recommended in the report, and 2, requires further report be funded to council upon resolution of the matter and advising of the outcome. 17.7, 54 Cunapalari Street, Throsby, Wonder School site review. Council approved proceeding as recommended in the report. 17.8, the Blue Flame Restaurant lease proposal. Approved proceeding as recommended in the report. And 17.8, estate drainage easement. Council resolved that they do not approve any additional topsoil being provided to the Ironbark estate drainage easement as detailed in the report, which brings us to 7:45 in the council. So thank you, councillors and staff, for all your efforts. Thank you.
Meeting that's with the design